of what he said is true. As it turns out, I was on my way here tonight and my car, well, some people might call it broke down. Other people might call it fell victim to the curse of the unicorns. There are a variety of responses that might be appropriate. But anyway, I'll cut to the best part of the story. So then I steal my daughter's car without permission, because usually stealing involves not having permission. And I'm racing down the street, and then suddenly I realize, wait, my unicorn speech is in the other car that broke down. So, like any good mother, I say, hey, sweetie, could you text that to me? And she goes, yeah, no. So I go back home, and then I'm confronted by the lawn guy that I've been dodging for the last 6 months because we don't actually have the money to pay him, but we want our yard to look nice. And so the story takes an ugly turn. And so I say to him, hey, if you'll go with me to the cash machine, I'll get the money that I owe you, but if and only if you'll drop me off at the Phoenix Theater. So, good people, I present to you me. Now, you may not be clapping in a few minutes, because if you recall, there was a situation with the speech, and maybe I didn't quite sort that part out. And so what ended up happening was my daughter said that she, who is a straight A student, by the way, really low ACT scores, but does really well in school, suggested to me that I use this thing called Google Docs. Because oftentimes when I write, I save the things to Google Docs, but I never go back there because I can't figure out how to get back there. And so she walked me through the process, and I found not only this speech, but my high school valedictorian speech. I found the essay that I wrote that was supposed to be used as my wedding vows like 23 years ago, even before Google Docs were invented. And so I've also given away part of my story, which is that I'm a time traveler, but that was going to come at the end. So anyway, I present to you, without having had a moment to verify that this is in fact the speech that I wrote tonight, my speech on the nefarious nature of unicorns in contemporary society. I know what you're thinking. How could someone as beautiful, talented, and glamorous as myself know anything about unicorns? Knowledge is power, my friends. Knowledge is power. I think we can all agree that we cannot hope to fight the menace of the unicorn unless we know what it looks like, what causes it, and how, in fact, we must marshal ourselves in order to fight the menace of the unicorn. I've put together a list of frequently asked questions about the unicorns to help you all fight this evil menace. Frequently asked questions. What are unicorns, and how do they occur? I'm glad you asked. The term unicorn generally refers to hardened layers of skin that can develop on the foot of a eunuch as the body's response to friction and pressure. I mean, eunuchs are people who are cast out of society, having things happen to places that we don't like to talk about in public, and being mutilated for the purposes of being able to sing good pitches or, heaven only knows, what other sinister pleasures. But they don't deserve to be victims of corns. So tonight, we are going to work together to diagnose, treat, and prevent the future of unicorns. All right then. How might I become a victim of a unicorn? There are actually 2 steps involved in this. First, you must become a eunuch. Check immediately to verify that. If it turns out to be the case, you are in luck. You too could become a victim of unicorns. Unicorns are diagnosed typically as such: rough, tough, yellowing patches of lumpy or bumpy skin. Skin that is sensitive to the touch or pain that results when wearing shoes. Unicorns can be safely treated, and you can even prevent future unicorns by observing vigilance in the care of your unique feet. You can develop unicorns from wearing shoes that are too snug on your feet. If you stand or walk for long periods of time, the weight of your actual unique body can result in friction that causes painful unicorns on the bottom of your feet as well. Once you have developed a unicorn, you are more likely to develop them in the future. Below are a number of important things to keep in mind that can reduce your risk of developing unicorns. Number 1, always wear properly fitting unique footwear. If you are unable to wear properly fitting unique footwear, it is better to wear oversized unique footwear with thick socks rather than to wear unique footwear that is actually too small. If you have only too small unique boots or unique shoes, the practical approach is to cut open the heel of the unique boot or unique shoe and to insert into it just the right amount of dried dragon tongue, which has been allowed to cure for at least 32 but not more than 42 parsecs. This expands the surface area of the foot and greatly reduces the risk of future unicorns for the individual in question. Reading to learn tips on how you can manage existing unicorns is also a helpful tool. If in the galaxy or dimension where you currently dwell, you have access to a device known as Snoogle, you may use it to find information and photographs of said unicorns. Where do unicorns develop? Well, actually, you clearly weren't listening if you're still asking that question. Oh, you want the specifics. I see. The most common unicorn develops on the side of the unique foot, but there are others that develop on the unique bottom. I myself, being a unicorn expert, have witnessed them developing between the unique toes and finally below the unique toenail bed. That, my friends, was a ghastly situation. So I know what you're thinking now. What's for supper? How can you treat unique foot corns? Well, if you're sure that you have a unicorn, you can try one of these tested methods to manage it at home. You should also get rid of any unique shoes that are too small for your unique feet and any other ill-fitting items in your home, such as too tight trousers, too tight jeans, and heavens or murgatroyd, too tight girdles. File away at the unicorn using some sort of a file, preferably the same one you will use to get away from the person who originally made you into a unicorn. Just saying, be practical here. Soak your feet in a warm bath with Epsom salts, if they happen to exist in your dimension. After the soak, pat your feet dry with a clean unique towel and moisturize with a unique hydrating lotion or unique cocoa butter. Continue this process daily until your unicorn has begun to soften. And that, my friends, is when things get interesting. Once your unicorn has softened, find the hair of a wild beast that has yet to germinate the seed inside of itself and have it lick the corn until it is fully removed. Try gently stroking the back of said beast until the beast calms itself enough to allow you to and this is where it gets weird. Make it a tribute for yourself. Yes, I've said it. Apparently, in some dimensions, when unicorns are caressed gently by beasts that have leapt to allow the seeds inside of them to germinate, they are able to successfully regrow any members that may be temporarily out of the club, as it were, and rejoin contemporary society. thereby greatly reducing the risk of any unicorns in the future. If you are not the kind of person who can grab hold to a beast that has yet to germinate the seed inside of itself, then, my friend, I'm afraid you are left with a life of potential unicorns. Repeat the steps that I mentioned to you earlier as often as necessary until this initial unicorn has disappeared, but rest assured there will be other unicorns in your future. There are those who say that when you attend to the services of a medical professional whose job it is specifically to address the needs of unicorns, you may actually be able to solve your problem. So, see your unicorn doctor if your home treatments do not work. Your unicorn doctor may refer you to a unicorn specialist who is known in some cultures as a podiatrist. A podiatrist is the kind of person who says, when you approach the office, can you afford to pay me? And if you say, no, I am too poor, he says, you'll likely die. If you happen to be the fortunate sort of fellow who is in fact wealthy and also a eunuch, I mean, who could ever strike those kinds of bargains? Then what you can do is offer to pay a portion of the proceeds of the lease that are about to be engaged in prior to, and offer that you'll pay the balance upon completion of the services. This, my friend, is the way you should conduct all of your business, including that with any non-maintenance companies and any children expecting allowances. What can I expect following my diagnosis of a unicorn? Well, unicorns won't disappear overnight, but you can see them lessen in appearance in as little as 2 weeks with proper treatment. It may be a month or more before they completely disappear. If you regularly develop unicorns, look for a support group of others who may also offer cast-off, comfortable eunuch shoes to assist you in the future with any unicorns that may present themselves. Eunuch feet can change size over time after all, and therefore frequent resizing of eunuch shoes is an important tool in battling against the eunuch shoe dilemma. You may need to switch to a larger size or perhaps a smaller size if you happen to suffer from a growth disorder that causes you to shrink over time. A eunuch shoe store associate would be happy to measure your feet as often as necessary at no cost to you and help to ensure that you always have properly fitting eunuch shoes. Thank you for visiting eunuchfootafflictions.com and have a nice day.